Hey guys, welcome back to this Hacking Sunday episode 3, and today our topic is JWT. So I have already launched my lab and it's been 3 days almost. People are solving it, and I have seen in my access log almost more than 150 people have tried to solve it, and from that only till now 3 people have solved the lab and got the customer's detail, which was the goal to get admin privilege in the user account. So in this video, I'll be talking about little bit about JWT, and after that we are going to see all the multiple ways in which we can solve that lab, and let's see. Okay, so let's first talk about what is JWT. So in simple words, JWT is a web token which contains some information and a key which is verified only in the backend. So its main purpose is to provide data to valid users only. So okay, something mistake here. So you can say like it helps to prevent IDOs and access controls. So you have so if you are a tester, pen tester, so you have many times seen like there are API requests are going on, and in the headers you see authorization header which has a banner and something base 64. So that is what a JW token is. Its use is to say like uh, to say like yes, only you are allowed to fetch this API and API data and anything. So it prevents attackers to not able it prevents attackers to not to access your data, your personal data. So that's the main reason of having JWT. Then how does JWT looks like? So as I already told you, it's a base 64 encoded. So if you see properly, it's actually three base 64 encoded things. So and all those three are divided by a dot. So if you see the red line is this is called the header, and the green part which is called the payload, and the blue part that you see is what the signature, which is what is actually has that private key or public key, which is then analyzed in the backend. Then if we decode it, so if we decode it, it looks something like the JSON data. So if you see this first part where we have algorithm, then type, and then some payload which has sub name, then IAT, and the signature, which is we can't understand obviously. Then it actually looks like this. So that yellow part that you see, which was the first part, which is the header, then the green part, which is the payload. So this payload contains some useful data of the token. So like useful data would be like who belongs to this token, like the username or user ID or email or anything which is needed to verify like whose token is this. So and at the end what we have a signature in which what happens is first the header is taken and encoded it. Then the payload is taken and again it's encoded in base 64, and then a signature is taken along with it, and then again it's been sharp, it's again been encoded in sharp 56, which is with hash. It's converted into a hash. So obviously we cannot decrypt it until we have a proper key. So signatures could be in two types, which is asymmetric and symmetric. So asymmetric means asymmetric means the client has a public key and the backend has a private key. So the JWT token would contain a public key, and when it's get authorized, so in backend private key would be taken, and along with that it's been authorized, it authorizes you to get all those data. And in symmetric you in backend and client side, like in both the side, same private same keys are used. So like if you are somehow able to know the key, so you can you are like able to do like create your own what you say JWT token. So attacks, so the most common attack of JWT is to use the none algorithm. So what does none algorithm does is like it's means it doesn't have any, none means nothing, so it says like there is no algorithm to be used. and it's like that. And if there is no algorithm, so like if so you don't even have a need to put a signature also. So you just need a payload and and a header. So but nowadays this is very rare case, so you can't use none, because that developers use that blacklisting and whitelisting. So according to that, if you provide any other algorithm, it will not allow you. So that's it. Now let's right jump into our lab and see what are the various ways to solve that lab. So let's check out our lab. So this was our lab which we were using it, which has a username and password. So username was trouble1@gmail.com, and passwords were trouble1@123. So, and it says that you are not an admin. And if you see a page source, so we have a JWT token available here. And if you check out this token in that JWT IO, we'll see that we are not an admin here. So trouble1@gmail.com, and I email user ID, and his admin is 0. So okay, I run this in my I'll going to run this in my local machine, so that because I really have a very bad internet connection right now, due to which I'm not able to go live also. Okay, so we have an admin user also available. So let me see the password. So I guess password, okay, JWT users, I guess password was admin. Okay, so I log in with admin@gmail.com and password with admin, and we see we have a option to get a customer's detail, which is this. And if I type 3, I get another details. So what we'll do, we'll just capture this request which is getting formed. So if I go for 1 and capture this request here, send this to repeater, and I'll intercept off, and I'll log out this. And now I'll log in into with my account, which was trouble1@gmail.com, and the password is trouble1@123. Okay, trouble1@gmail. So again, I'll create a request here, the same request here. Just refresh it, and I'll write here main.php and convert it into a post request. Send this to a repeater, and the content type would be my JSON, and I'll copy that authentication barrier header. No, I think barrier header, this part, or single space, and I'll copy this JSON value also to this part. And now if I send this request, I will say that access token was not found. So I already have a token right here. So I'll just take this and I'll paste it here. So I don't get any data here. So if you see the value of this token, so it's like I'm not admin, right? So the first step that you would have tried is to crack the password of this token. So what you can do for crack this token, you can use the hashcat. So first you need to save your token in a file with an extension which is jwt.has, which is hash hash. And so I'll just go to my desktop and get JWT. So I have my token available here. Now I'll use this hashcat command and -a0 and -m16500, which is for JWT, and I'll give the file which was jwt.hash and the word list from which I want to crack, which is usa share word list and rocku.txt. so this will give me the exact token available. So you see we are the token was cracked in very quickly. So I got my token, I mean the key of the JWT. So I'll use this JWT.io to, and I'll paste my token here, and according to that I can change 0 to 1, and I can try out to see if I'm getting access to the customer's data. So still after giving this 1, you're not able to fetch the data. So at this moment you can think like the 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 validation of that a user is an admin or not is by checking the email ID or the username, and not from the token. So you might have tried to do an SQL injection here, which was like you can give a invalid email ID and do colon or 1 equal to 1 and give a comment from hash. And now if you try this, you would definitely get the customer's detail. So what was the mistake was, like, the developer, which is me, was trying to validate if the user is admin or not is by checking the email ID. So what I was doing in this is I was taking this email ID and checking, and I was checking from my database whether I have a admin access or not. So if you see my database, which is where it is here, so I have a column name which is called is admin. So if you see only the first row, like the first user of this web page is admin, and its is admin value is 1. So while doing SQL injection, we were able to uh, treat ourselves as we are the first user of this web page, which is admin@gmail.com. So this was the first way of solving this lab. And other thing, if what other people other ways is another way is to directly give admin@gmail.com. But this was because I gave the TED token. So people who solve this lab by using this method, you I would say, like, you might have solved it, but this credential was given by me, so I expected you to try this out without using this user ID. So if you have used this cracked this JWT without using this email ID, I would have seen like you have done in a perfect way. But okay, but even also you can do this also. So it's like what you are doing here is like you have the key, and from this key you are creating a JWT token for admin or admin. That's it. So but what if you don't know what is the user ID of the admin, like who is the admin? So in that case, that's why the main proper way of solving this was to do an SQL injection by this and giving a comment here. So this was the actual way of solving this lab. You break the token and get these values. So and another way of solving this lab was also again an SQL injection. So let me just get logged out from this session. Okay, let me see if I am okay. Now I have been logged out. So again, what I'll do here, I'll create a user which is like this. So I've already created a user for this name. So once if I logged in here, okay, I am getting an issue. I create a user right now. Okay, registered. I'll get logged in, and if I check out my JWT token here, and if I decrypt it, I will get the data of the version of the MySQL. I mean, so what's going on here is, let me explain this in MySQL console right away. It will be easy to understand. So let me use a trouble one. Okay, I'll use the JWT hope show labs, I mean show tables. Okay, it's empty one. I'll use this one. So what was the query was, it says select everything from users. Okay, select everything from users where you say username is equals to test. So it says select everything from users where username is equals to test, and you get only the users whose username is test. Then then we find an SQL injection here, and what we do, let me use it as a token. So what we do, we put a colon here in between those two columns, and we write union select 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma and 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, this also has a 6 rows and a comment here. So you see the username with test is been replaced by 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So this JWT token you see is actually getting data from the MySQL query. So when we use that union query, the result that when the background that when the backend is using this select everything, so that time the value is converted into these numbers. So this email id or this email id is 3 because like this part. So in this part right now is its password. So assume like this here is the email id. So whatever, if I write 3 and replace it with something else, it will be replaced here also. So now if I change this to 6 to @ version, so I get the the version name, and which is what actually getting reflected here. So this is what happening in the background while doing this injection point. So that's it. These are the two ways that we can solve this lab and get information of MySQL, or the data also. And other way of doing an SQL injection was fairly very simple one, which was, if you see if I do a colon or 1 equal to 1 here, it will not work because there is no SQL, the injection point here. And even if you do at this part, there is also no injection point here, but it's actually the second order SQL injection, so your data is again being used from somewhere else. So if I create a user which is this, and I get logged in this way, I'm actually getting logged in as a admin. So it's checking whether who is this user. So while checking the user, at that point we had a injection because it's not getting sanitized in the second in the second query when it's again being called, and it's being only sanitized in the first where a user is actually giving an input. So that's it, and we are logged in as admin. So if I check my token, you see we are logged in as admin@gmail.com. So these are the different ways to solve this lab. Now I am going to create this lab as I'm going to upload all the codes and everything in my GitHub account. So make sure to take it and use it in your local machine. So I have already posted the past two episodes labs, and PPTs here. So I'll update it soon. I mean tomorrow also, or by today also. I'll update all the codes here. You can check out. Okay, we have jumped right into a lab, and I have shown all the different ways to solve this lab. I hope you like this lab and stay safe. And you see my net connection. That's it for this video. If you have any other questions regarding JWT or anything else, you can ask me on my Twitter account. And if you have any problem in installing my lab, anything issues, it might be any issue like for the database connection or anything else, please let me know. I'll help you out. So that's it for this video. Thank you. Okay, so this was our lab. So this was the online that क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं